Aho, brothers of the axe. We're out here in the middle of Industrial City here, looking for some good wood for our axe rack. I think we found a winner. Aho, brothers of the axe. I'm out here in the shop tonight, and I am working on a pallet axe rack. So I just went and snagged a pallet from a industrial spot that was probably about 5 minutes from my house. So I got this sort of perfectly shaped pallet for the little space that I have here in between my two benches. And then they also had this thing here, which is just 4 studs nailed together, which I think might work perfectly for some supports, or I'm thinking about making a little side rack as well for hatchets and other hammers and things like that. So what I'm going to start now is I just have a metal blade on the Sawzall, and I'm going to just start taking off, you know, all these little knickknacks and things like that that are on the side of the pallet, and just get the pallet nice and flush before I cut it. So should I? I'm going to live dangerously. No iPro. Famous last words. Oh. Probably helped to plug it in. Yeah, this is definitely pine, but I think this is hardwood. Pallet's heavy as shit, so I would assume that it's hardwood. Get a little cup of coffee. I don't know what happened. It's cold again. It was only like 70 degrees today. It's supposed to be like 90 something, I think next week. Hopefully we get good weather for my kayak trip on the 20th. Really hoping for good weather. So my intention is to cut this at 36 inches and then take the remainder, double it over in the front so that I have 2 rows, you know, attach it together, and then build a little bit of a base at the bottom so it's not wobbly. I wish this was a little bit longer so I could do 2 36-inch pieces. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have my in frame. Yeah. I'm not going to have enough length to get 2 36-inch pieces, so I'm going to do a 36 to accommodate all the full-size double bits and things like that I have, and then I'm going to take the remainder and butt it up against the 36. And if the handles stick out the bottom a little bit, it sort of is what it is. It's a pallet rack, or a pallet wood axe rack. So I'm not trying to make it anything more than what it is. I'm going to mark this at 36. I'll cut it, and we'll screw it to itself, and we'll make a base. I've got 36 marked, and I'm going to just do this with a handsaw here so that it's nice and square, and not getting all wonky with the Sawzall. Shit. Well, there's some kind of metal in there, so I don't want to dull up my fancy, shitty little Stanley saw. Measure 36 on the other side. Okay. So yeah, the idea is 36 inches. What do we got? That's a 30-inch. This one's a 36. Yeah, it's going to work fine. It's another 36-inch Sager, courtesy of Brother Dave. Another 36-inch. Yeah, this will work good. So then what I'll do is take this one, screw it like that, and then, yeah, maybe what I'll do is I'll take the slats off the backside, screw this one to that, yeah, and then maybe just kind of put a couple support pieces on the side, make some legs for it, and then possibly put another little rack jutting off the front. Some of you guys that might be carpenters or really just craftsmen in general are probably cringing right now going, Jesus, look at this guy working. He's just kind of flying by the seat of his pants. Yes, welcome to the channel. Yeah, just out here hopped up on caffeine and sheer willpower, I guess. All right, get these off the front or the back, however you want to look at it. Yeah, but I think that's what we'll do. This one, mount to this one. Now my only question is, do I mount it flush like that, or do I have it at the bottom? Let's try something here. So hypothetically, the back will be all 36-inch full size. Now, if I mount it down at the bottom, in theory, yep, that's what we got to do. We got to mount it at the bottom. Yeah, because if we mount it at the bottom staggered like that, I'm not going to have an issue with the shorter ones clanking into the taller ones. Okay. Well, if that's the case, I might not even have to. Actually, I think it might be better that there's a little space in between the two of these. Yeah, I think so. All right, well, screw it then. We don't need the Sawzall anymore. What do we need? We need braces for the side. You know what? I'm going to have to cut. I'm going to have to cut some pieces. And yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll brace roughly right around here, like that. Maybe one down here like that. And then we'll make some legs down here like that at the bottom to keep it stable. Cool. I'm glad that I grabbed this extra piece, because that'll be what I'll use these cross pieces for. And then maybe I'll use Oh, holy crap, there's a big old bow in this piece here. And then, yeah, I'll use the other two pieces to maybe make a little hammer rack or something for the front. But that's going to require Sawzall use. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut here for tonight, and I'll get back with you guys. All right, so it's the next night, and I got the dog in here wanting to play fetch. But I think what I'm going to have to do is knock all my axes over. First, I'm going to have to knock all my axes over. I'm going to bust this part up here, and I'm going to make the little support pieces and the front, and that's going to tie both these racks in together. So we'll start working on that now. Let's see. So what am I thinking? So yeah, what I'm thinking is we stack these one in front of another like this, and then I'm going to put support pieces on the sides here, and the top one is going to come out, extend past the front rack on both sides, and I'm going to do another cross section right here so that I can put hatchets in front of my boys' axes. So what's going to be is full-size 36-inch stuff up here, boys' axe stuff up to 30-inch or maybe 32-inch here, and then I'm going to do a smaller rack in front like this for all the hatchets, you know, 20, 24-inch stuff, all that. Maybe even some spare hammers, things like that too. And that rack is going to serve two functions. It's going to be a support piece to tie the two parts of the pallet together, and then B, it's going to function as the rack. And then I'm also going to make a set of legs at the bottom that are going to tie both sides together and also function as legs. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything measured up and cut out. We don't need to see how to cut dimensional wood. There's a million YouTube videos on that. So I'm going to get that cut out, and then we'll assemble it. All right, guys, so I got the boards cut. Wound up doing these support boards 12 inches, and I think it was like 2 3/8 thick for 2 boards. So I added 2 3/8 to the length of the pallet, which was what was it? I just cut it. Yeah, so the pallet was like 27 inches wide plus 2 3/8, so that's 29 3/8. And that's what this board, yeah, this board's 29 3/8. And you know what? I didn't even bother plugging in my my miter saw. I just did it with the little Stanley saw here. All right. So this is what we got. And if I did my measuring right, which I probably didn't, this should go nice and tight fit. Okay, Where's Brother Mallet? All right, here we go. Yeah, and at the end of the day, this is all pallet wood too, so nothing's ever going to be super square, super straight. At least not with my ass building it, but can't speak for the rest of you guys. But cross section here of what we got going on. Something like that. So let me make sure that this is level, and we'll get this thing screwed in, and we'll start getting it tightened up, and we'll make some legs for it. Okay. And let's just check that we're reasonably level across the front. Yeah. And also, let's just check. Let's grab a hatchet. Check that this is going to be enough room. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I think that's going to work out very nicely. I can't tell you how excited I am that this shop is finally going to get cleaned up a little bit and organized. Okay, cool. Let's see. Take a little coffee break. This is a union job here. Probably what I should have done from square one. Just clamp it and work smarter and not harder, but thank you for your service. Waxer coming out. Yep, I'm out. Yeah, it's all good. You know what, let me just bang a screw in there for the hell of it. I'd rather do this now than when it has 50 axes in it. Just some legs. And honestly, I don't really even know if we need them. I mean, I don't know how unstable that's going to be, especially with, shit, what, 80 pounds of axes in it? But I've got extra wood, and I don't need any more crap laying around here, so I think what I ought to do is just throw some legs on here, just for the sake of A, using up this wood, and B, stability. Yeah, all right, so what do we want to do? If we did 12, I don't know, let's do 16-inch legs. We're going to do, what do we say, 16-inch legs. Mark it at 16. 16 times 2 is what, 28? No, 32, just kidding. I fooled you. Thought I was a jackass. So I got two 32-inch legs, and I think what we'll do is offset them a little bit towards the back. And let's do this scientifically here. Let's go like let's do 3 inches off the back. I was just chatting back and forth with Ed over at Redbeard. He had sent me a video the other day of some builds that he was doing. One of the builds he did was with a handle that I had sent him in a trade, and I just happened to notice that he's using these Harbor Freight pistol grip clamps too, and I had made mention of how good they were for the price. If anybody hasn't checked these out at Harbor Freight, they're so cheap. Like, I'm talking about like maybe $3.99 for the 8-inch ones, cheap. The Irwin ones at Home Depot they're like $30-something for the same clamp. It's crazy. Throw another screw on these supports up top. Couldn't hurt. And let's get her flipped over. What did we say? 3, right? You guys making a lot of stuff with pallet wood? I know my dad for a while was going nuts making pallet wood stuff. That was like a big thing there for a while. Made a couple things. Sold a couple things during the height of the craze too. Was making signs for a while out of pallet wood. My wife was never super into the whole pallet wood craze, so I'm not really even sure if it's still a thing or sort of fallen out of fashion with the interior design. Can't argue the fact that it's free hardwood, so that's something there. You do have to watch though. Some of these things are treated with, I think, what is it called? Methylbromine, which is toxic to inhale the sawdust and toxic to burn. And, you know, if you're making like spice rack or whatever, something that, you know, it's going to touch food, that's no good. So you want to make sure you're getting the ones that are marked HT for heat treated, as opposed to the ones marked MB or CT for chemically treated. All right. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, that brother's sturdy now. Okay. Proof of concept. Let's get some of these double bits in here. And I don't think we're going to fill the whole thing here on camera, but now this is like a 30-inch, 28-inch. Okay. What else? Here's a big old Connecticut on a 35, 36-inch. And some hatchets. Okay. And some more hatchets. All right, now here's, yeah, so I guess double bits will just have to live on top. Right. Well, that's a 32. That's a 31, I think. Yeah, that can live in the middle. Okay. Cool, man. I am pretty happy with the way this turned out. Here's that. Yow. That sucker is sharp. Now I might go back and possibly use the Sawzall or the coping saw to carve out little notches to put, to rest the bits in. I might not. I don't know. I've seen a couple. My buddy Kevin just did one. He did the notches. My buddy Alex has several of these large racks in his shop, and he's got notches on, I think, some and not on others. So I think, I mean, honestly, it seems to be working fine. Just keep the doubles up top. Double bits, I should say, not the doubles of different axes. All right, last one. I'm not going to load this whole thing up because I still have to move it. So, okay, guys. So as you can see here, we've got our 3 tiers. Top tier, all double bits. Bottom tier is pretty much only going to be for single bits. Just because of not being able to have the secondary bit extending backwards there, but that's okay. I don't have a ton of double bits anyway. And then the front one is going to all be hatchets, and then it's going in this little nook over here that I've cleared out, and I should have room on either side if I wanted to, extend off and make another rack on either side for, maybe even larger stuff. Maybe like if I get a Pulaski or something like that with a 40-inch handle in the future, or maybe even just do another hammer rack. Like I have off the side of my bench now here, just, for organization, I keep a little hammer rack, and that's just, on the side of the bench there. So maybe do another kind of little hammer rack or something so I could put some more hatchets, or, my big thumper mallet doesn't even fit in here anymore. I have so many hammers. So maybe make a spot, maybe like a place of honor in the front for the thumper mallet. Will that fit? Oh yeah, actually that'll even just fit right in the front. Cool. Or even on the top. Awesome. All right, well, I'm going to get this in place, and I'm going to get it loaded up, and I'll show you guys what it looks like fully loaded. All right, guys. So there it is in all its glory. And on top of building this rack, I also built a little storage system for on-hung heads that are free of wood in the eye. I got a couple spots for a few more, and then I have, obviously a ton more screws, and I have more boards that I can put across the studs here as my collection of project heads, starts to continue to materialize. So yeah, feeling good about the organization. Not as many axes as I thought. They look so much, it looks like so much more of a problem when they're stacked up. This whole area here on my bench was nothing but just a pile of, hung axes and handles and, just a bunch of junk. Because I'm going to start doing a lot more filming in here. I don't want it to continue to look like, a total hoarder layer, which it is. But anyway, guys. All right, I'm not going to ramble on for too much longer. So anyway, as always, guys, thanks everybody for watching and liking and commenting, and anybody that's subbed. And as always, I am here just reminding you to keep those axes waxed, and I will see you on the next one, guys. Take care.
Spite of this, I always try to fit in. When they consume my head, I hate this feeling. I wanna be a